So basically, this video is gonna, I know for sure, spike some controversy between fanboys, but I'm just making this obviously. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Hey yo, what's good guys, back with another video. Unfortunately, I don't know if there's gonna be a few debate videos that will come out, and this was one of the only ideas I've ever had to make a video about, necessarily. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It took me a lot of work to get done, and basically, yeah, I think this took me like about 5 hours to make, so hope you guys give me some credit. Make sure to like and share this video around. If you want to come debate and disagree on the scaling and stuff, then you can come. My Discord tag is MTF Leader. You guys can come debate about it. I'm all chill for it, for discussion or whatever. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. And yeah, we're just gonna get started with the scaling. So first off, we're gonna start with the image comic zone, which is a part actually of the Archie, Sonic, and the Sonic the Hedgehog comic series. As we can see, it's quite literally within the Sonic fandom wiki, and it quite literally says here is the image comic zone, also known as the image universe, is a location that appears in the Sonic the Hedgehog comic series and the spin-offs. Even the spin-offs obviously relating to the Archie comics. Basically, it is an alternate reality that is known to be inhabited by numerous superhero and supervillain characters. It was once visited by Sonic the Hedgehog, Knuckles the Echidna, Laho Freedom Fighters, and etc. basically. To verily add way more context to, the image comic zone, we're going to pertain to scans I have. So in this first scan, it talks about the existence of at least 20 dimensions beyond our own, and the second scan talks about different dimensional planes and different universes and non-biological things and non-biological properties that do exist within the Sonic universe. So to put context, my bad for that, to put context within these scans, within the cosmology, in the image comics, it would at least contain 20 mathematical dimensions. Within the Archieverse, we already know it is an alternate reality to the image comics, so the Archie cosmology, my bad for that stutter, the Archie cosmology would contain 20 dimensions as well. We obviously know that qualitative superiority exists between these dimensions due to the fact that they are separated by dimensional planes, which each vibrate at a different frequency. So if you don't know what I mean by having different frequency between these dimensions, we can go like this. Dimension 13 is greater than dimension 12, and dimension 11 is obviously lower than dimension 13 and dimension 12. That's how qualitative superiority works between the mathematical dimensions, obviously. So therefore, if this is applied through every single dimension within the verse, the cosmology would already be 20-dimensional by default. So we have already spiked through the Marvel canon. Now let's go to the DC canon. Anyways, so TMNT, aka the Ninja Turtles franchise, basically, as you can see within this video, which talks about the Injustice, or in the game Injustice 2 in TMNT, there are different multiverse ending cutscenes, and as you can see in here, TMNT appeared in the DC Injustice universe all the way from, as you can see, there's a timestamp that's going to be 052 all the way to the end. So this completely, justifies, it proves that TMNT does have a crossover and does exist in the DC universe. Now, here's where it gets crazy. The Ninja Turtles and TMNT have made appearances and crossovers with Sonic, obviously. And as you can see here, I will even give you the wiki and some shots of the wiki. As we can see, there is a lot of trivia, there's a lot of things and stuff, but here's where it gets the most part. In Sonic the Hedgehog #10, all 4 turtles were seen in the background during Sonic's trek through the series. The brothers commented that they're in the wrong comic book. So as we can see, they have fourth wall knowledge, and they have knowledge about the fourth wall, which gives more into already within the skins that already propose the canonicity between Sonic and TMNT. Now, we already know that TMNT already has a connection to the DC universe, right? Now, as we can see, there is also another entire page to read about the Sonic wiki, as we can see, and just other wikis in itself. Now, in the Infestation 1 and 2, which put together the image, which contain other verses like Star Trek, Transformers even, in the comic Infestation, my bad for that, we can quite literally see that there's a publisher that relates to the works of the IDW comics. My bad for the stuttering and stuff. But yeah, here is another blog post that I will be showing you right here. These blog posts prove in this case that they do have existential crossovers and existential relations with the IDW universe and all the other DC works, and not only that, just all the IDW works. So that places it not only into the TMNT cosmology and the DC cosmology, the DC cosmology, but that also puts place and work into the Sonic cosmology. So first off, this is probably going to be the last bit of scaling right now, but we've already done Image Comics, we've already done the DC and Marvel stuff. We're going to do more on the Marvel stuff now, but right now we're going to be doing also another verse that would relate to Marvel and help us scale Sonic further in this case. So anyways, we're going to be using a well-known comic that you guys know called Dark Tower. Here's basically a picture of what is Dark Tower. It's made by Stephen King, and here's a idea for this screenshot of what Dark Tower is. It was made February 2007, whatever, blah blah blah. But yeah, so anyways, the Dark Tower is a comic about basically some gunslinger and stuff, but that's not what we're here for. So basically, Dark Tower had collected editions at the end of a Marvel publication. So basically, it began publishing hardcover of omnibus editions, collecting each chapter and bonus materials, right? So there are different source materials of Dark Tower and where it came from, and here's basically where Dark Tower, all the chapters of Dark Tower and stuff, and where it's mostly connected and related to. Basically, we can see the writers here, we can see basically everything within this wiki, right? Now, going over the Marvel comics and just skipping Dark Tower itself, right? The Marvel universe has an omniverse. As we can see in the Marvel database wiki, the omniverse is a collection of every single universe, multiverse, megaverse, and dimension, alternate or pocket realm, whatever the hell. This not only includes Marvel comics, but also includes the DC comics. As we already know, the DC comics, right? We've already pointed to that there are already well-known connections of the Archie comics and the TMNT verse, and also the DC comics. But not only that, we don't even have to bring in all those other stuff, because it says here that Image Comics already exists, which already tell the Archie comics exist. Dark Horse comics exist, the Wild Storm comics exist, and right there it already says that Archie exists. So we don't even have to go over every single other comic, because we already know that the Omniverse, or the Marvel Omniverse, contains every single comic universe, trilogy, or whatever, or just whatever. It even says here that the comic universe, or not the comic universe, that the Omniverse even contains things like anime, like Dragon Ball, Naruto, Bleach, One Piece, Ghost in the Shell, My Hero Academia, etc., etc. Even fanfictions, by the way. Naruto works, mere fantasies, wishes of thoughts created by people, blah 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 blah. Fictional universe yet to be published or considered part of the Omniverse. So things, movies, and just basically any single work of fiction, as it says here. Maybe there are obviously probably going to be maybe some exceptions in this case, but yeah, so basically everything is within the version of this Omniverse, everything that exists that is imaginable in the work of fiction. So as we can see here, it gives definitions of universe, a multiverse, and a megaverse. It gives all this blah blah blah, right? Now, here's the thing. Okay, within the Marvel database, we even have within the Marvel comics. The Marvel comics and the Marvel multiverse itself literally says that it contains every single alternate timeline and alternate thing, right? It even has different conceptual forms, conceptual spaces, the nature of the multiverse, different other dimensions, and different stages of this multiverse. It just gives into everything of how the multiverse works. And once again, here's another Marvel database entry that already shows again and gives off the definition of what is the Marvel multiverse. As we can see, the Marvel multiverse has been described sporadically as a realm endowed with infinite levels of existence, whose quantity of extra dimensions stretches across the breadth of conceptual infinity. The multiverse encompasses even domains of existence beyond all time and space, transcending all levels of reality and dream, so that exceeding this boundary resides the beyond that is equated with the outside, right? Now, basically everything within here to point out is that this basically not only has necessary structures, but it even have what the fuck is that grammar? My bad, bro. It even has metaphysical hierarchies and different levels of, infinite existence. Now, this is obviously not going to include theological infinities, obviously, because theological infinities already point to divine nature and the true existence of God. So we're not going to go over just things like bad infinity, true infinity, whatever, Hegel's absolutus, or something like that, or, the concept of absolutum, right? But anyways, we're just going to go over just everything that this goes over. So we know that the Archie cosmology now is connected with all these other verses, not just Dark Tower, but the Marvel universe itself and the Marvel omniverse, and just basically everything. Its cosmology is connected with all fiction and imaginary things, as it's quite clearly said here. My bad for that. Now, here's where it gets interesting. You might think that the Marvel universe is the center of this and that they control everything, that the Archie cosmology is bounded by this. No, it's not actually saying that. You see, let's go over the main antagonist of the Archie comics. Now, the source of all is actually an antagonist for the Sonic universe. So here's where it gets really interesting. As we can see here, the source of all is stated to be the very building blocks of the Sonic universe, and that's what we would classify it. Let's look into the wiki first off. So first off, as we can see, the source of all is an omnipotent and sentient substance being that created the universe and supplies of all cosmic matter necessary to create the base material of life and everything else. Right? So this is not just pointing to the Sonic universe, this is pointing to the DC and Marvel universe. And here's how. So to scale the source of all above the Chaos Force, we already know that by these scans, the Chaos Force is a concept. And it's a concept that exists beyond time and space. So, due to how the narrative of how the source of all is handled, the source of all created the entire Archie Comics cosmology, which also would mean that the source of all surpasses all crossovers as far in the verse it gets. As the source of all, basically in this case, has to create not only the Archie cosmology, but also what the Archie Comics will cross over to, as such as Marvel or DC, meaning both of which are seen as canon to the Archie narrative with or without Marvel DC's input. So in this case, the source of all is like literally the source of all, right? It's the source of every single thing. It's basically just the omniverse, right? That's what the omniverse is pointing to. The source of all created basically everything. It created the omniverse, it created the Dark Tower, created basically everything. So as we know that the Archie comics, as I said, that not everything is bounded by the Marvel universe, but rather everything is connected to the Marvel universe, and everything can be connected to one thing, to another thing, to this other verse, etc., right? But here's the thing with, Sonic's verse. It has a source of all, and it's pointing to that the source of all is obviously the main antagonist of the Sonic universe, meaning it is directly related to Sonic's universe. So this would mean that Sonic's universe itself and the Archie cosmology is quite literally the most superior one, because it has direct relation to the source of all, and what the source of all has substantially created, not just for everything, but even customized for the Archie inhabitants. So the source of all has to create beings like Enerjack, the Ancient Walkers, for the events to happen within the Archie comics, and not the Sega game multiverse. So with that in mind, it's literally and theoretically impossible to destroy the source of all, due to the source of all essentially serving as an omnipotent source of energy that can drain non-omnipotent gods, like for example, Enerjack, or Dimitri, or basically these people who are vastly weaker than people like Chaos Knuckles or Enerjack Knuckles. So the source of all relics that get destroyed are nothing more just basically than a shadow of the 99% of the source of all's power. So basically the source of all just ignores all these relics and, you know, whatever the hell, right? Now, the source of all does add up to its name. It quite literally is a source of all. It is the building blocks of the entire omniverse, right? Now here's where it gets crazy. Here's where there's wasting input. It's not just that Sonic's universe would already be classified as a superior universe, because there can already be characters who scale above their universe and can quite literally challenge Sonic and be scaled to be said, you know, be above Sonic, right? Now here's where it gets crazy. In this scan right here, it says, so, you know, like Mega Man, I'm about to say Eggman, Mega Man just talks about, oh no, we're too late and stuff. And Sonic says, nothing, a little Chaos Control can fix it. Chaos Control, he says. So basically, as it says here, it's quite clearly classified that Sonic uses the Chaos Force to entirely collapse the source of all. And if Sonic collapses the source of all, then that would entail that he collapsed the entire cosmology, meaning Sonic directly scales above both Marvel and DC, because not only did he collapse the source of all, but that would entail that he collapsed every single comic universe's cosmology in this case. So that would basically mean that Sonic quite literally affected and destroyed Marvel and DC and the universes. And not only that, it's also obviously going to be later shown that Sonic did revive everything into a matter of order in this case. So it's quite literally shown with evidential substantial proof that Sonic is quite literally above the entire cosmology, basically, you know? So yeah, Sonic is the GOAT. Sonic is just him. Nobody can beat him at all. Anyways guys, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want me to make another power scaling video about something, I will, you know, maybe check out your request and see if I'm able to do it. So you can just go in your comments, or no, not in your comments, my bad for being stupid once again, but you can go in the comment section once again, type out your opinions about this scale, give maybe some, you know, different ideas of what I could do to maybe upgrade this scale. You know, once again, if you disagree, you can come debate. I already gave my chord at the beginning of the video. And yeah, so basically that's it guys. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm out for now. Peace out.